2 verse 26. And Moshe is telling us, I sent messengers from the Kedema wilderness, El Sichon Melech Cheshbon, Divrei Shalom Lemor. I sent messages from the Kedema wilderness to Sichon, the king of Cheshbon, words of peace, saying, let's hear what Rashi says, Mimidbar Kedmot. What is the significant thing here? Rashi is commenting on that he sent words of peace. Where in the Torah did it say that Moshe was supposed to send peace? So it says, God never commanded me to reach out in peace to Sichon. I learned to do so from the Sinai wilderness, from the Torah, because the Torah preceded the creation of the world. When Hashem wanted to give it to the Jewish people, he first went to Esav and Yishmael, and it was known to him that they were not accepted. God made an offering to them. That's why I went to Sichon and offer words of peace. So what Rashi is saying, because there's no such place anywhere else of Midbar Kedemot. So it means from the ancient wilderness, from the wilderness of the ancient time, i.e. Sinai. Did you ever hear that midrash before, that God went to the nations of the world and offered them the Torah?
Yeah.
So this is the source for it. And that's why it's called Midbar Kedemot, Rashi says. Alternatively, Davar Achar Midbar Kedemot Mimcha Lamadati Shekidamto Ha'olam. I learned this from you, and you came before the world, God. Yachol Hayita L'Shoch Barak Echad L'Srofet HaMitzrim. You could have killed the Egyptians with one bolt of lightning. Shalachtanim Min HaMidbar Al Paro Le'mor Shalachat Ami B'mitun. But you were patient, and you sent me to Pharaoh from the wilderness, saying, let my people go. I could have destroyed Pharaoh all at once. So Moshe said he learned from you that I'm supposed to go to Sichon and offer them peace. It's interesting because he could have learned the opposite, that you're not supposed to offer peace from the Canaanite nations. But anyway, you'll see it was a moot point because Moshe says, Moshe says, let me pass through your land. I'll walk on your path, on the main road. I'm not going to go to the right or to the left. I'm not going to mess up your territory. I'll buy food with your money. And water and silver you'll give me. Excuse me. You'll sell me food for money. And that's what I'll eat. You'll sell me water for money, and then I'll drink it. Just let me pass through. I'll buy food from you. I'll buy your food. I'll pay top dollar. Just let me pass through. So says the verse. He says, just like the children of Esav who dwelt in Seir and the Moabites who dwelt in Ar, just like they did for me until I pass over the Jordan to the land that Hashem gave us. Rashi says, this is not said with respect to crossing through their land. It refers to selling food and water. Meaning to say, because they didn't allow them, the Esav didn't allow them to cross through. But it means, just like I did with Esav, I'll give you the same deal I gave to Esav. You give me the food and I'll pay you money for it. Meaning, just let me pass through and don't worry, I'm not staying here. I'm crossing over the Jordan.
Rabbi,
yes.
This means that Rashi thinks that the people of Esav and Moab, there were people who did sell food or not?
No, there weren't. But they offered it.
Asuli, it's the other way around. We offered them, not they offered us.
That's what Rashi says. not to pass through the land, but with respect to the selling the food and water. That's what you should do to me. The same deal that I offered them.
But
I
they
know.
did. I'm
I know
asking.
that. I'm saying I understand what you're saying, and Rashi's telling us don't read the pasuk that way. That's the point. Rashi's saying we can't read the pasuk the way you're saying it because that we know from the elsewhere in the Torah that Bnei Yisrael did not let them pass through.
My question was just whether or not they sold them food
They didn't sell them. They didn't let them go through. How could they sell them?
at the border. Maybe I don't know.
Oh no. Well, I mean,
That's why it was very confusing.
yeah, because he's uprooting the verses. He's not taking it doesn't jive with the other verse. So that's why he has to read it this way. Okay, verse 30. Both Sichon didn't want to let us pass. Sichon didn't let us pass through because Hashem made his heart hard. So that because he wants you to pass, Hashem wants to give him over to you today.
It makes a parallel to Pharaoh very stark.
Obviously, yeah, but the question is, we understand why Hashem made Paro's heart hard. Maybe Paro had done a lot of sins, but why is Hashem making Sichon's heart hard? So that's a little bit more complicated. We don't. He's in Bamidbar, but he doesn't. We don't see like a Pharaoh-like personality.
They were stuck. They didn't have anywhere to cross. They had to cross somewhere.
They needed somebody to let them. Exactly. Vayomer Hashem Elai, and God said to me, Re'ei achilosi, teit lefanecha sichon ve'esartzo, achel rash la'rashos esartzo. So Hashem says, you're going through Sichon. Hashem said, see, I've begun to deliver you Sichon and his land. He's before you. Take Sichon and his land. Begin to conquer it. Rashi says, Achilosi teit lefanecha, kafas sar shel Amorayim shamara, that Hashem tied up the angel of the Amorayim above. Why are they calling them the Amorayim? Tachas raglav shel Moshe, underneath the feet of Moshe, v'hidricho al tzavaro, and he had Moshe step on his neck. That's a good one. So this is it says Hachilosi. So Sichon went out with all his people to do war in Yatzah. Rashi says, Lo shalach b'shvil og, ma'azor lo lamedcha shelo yu tzrichim ze letzeh. He didn't send to Og, Melech HaBashan. He didn't say he needed him. Because he's saying, I don't need him on my own. I'm strong on my own. And God placed Sichon before us, and we destroyed him and his sons and all of his people. Rashi says, he also destroyed his, it's written his son, we see his sons, but it's written his son. Teach us he had a son as strong as he. He had one son who was really mighty. Verse 34, Vanelkodes kol Arav, and we conquered all of his cities at that time. So basically, it was a self-defense attack. The Sichon attacked us. Sichon went out to fight us. We didn't do anything. But why would they go out and fight us if we weren't planning on going through? They tried to attack us. Well, suspicious. And Akod is called Arav Ba'isaiv, and Achram is called Ir Mitim Anashim Vataf Lo Isharnu Serid. And we struck down all of his cities at that time, and we struck down all his city, Mitim Vanashim, the men, the women, the children, Lo Isharnu Serid. We did not leave a survivor. Rashi says the unusual word here is Mitim. It means Anashim. I don't know that we've seen that word for men before in the Bible. I could be wrong, but it strikes me as one of the, it's definitely an unusual word. Rashi has to translate it. Rashi, there's a comment here from Rashi, and Rashi says, Visas Sichon Nemar Bazaznuel. When we attacked Sichon, it's the next verse. Raka Behema Bazaznuel, just the animals we took for ourselves, Ushlawa Arim Asher Kanu, and the booty of the cities that we conquered. So Rashi says, Bebizas Sichon Nemar Bazaznuel. It comes to Sichon, it says, we looted for ourselves. Lashon Biza, a loot. Shaita Chaviva Aleim was precious to them. Bozazim Ishlo, and each man looted for himself. Kshaboa Bizas Og, when it came to the battle of Og, Kvarayus Veyimu Moyim, they were already satisfied and full. Vaita Bezuya Beineim, it's contemptible in their eyes. And the Karadum Lashlichan Behemo Begadim, and they would slash and throw away animals and clothes.
One of the discussion points in Steinsaltz says that the reason Sichon attacked them, because you said it was because they assumed, first of all, that previously when they were other nations like Edom and Moab and Ammon, the Jews circumvented them. So they figured if they said no, they would just circumvent them and they wouldn't have to fight them. But then when they didn't leave, then they attacked them because they knew they had to fight them, versus doing what happened before.
Because the Jews weren't leaving.
Because they weren't leaving.
That's what that's what it sounds like. It sounds like if they're not leaving, then they're ready for war.
That's what he was hoping for. And also they said they were stronger on the east. And they didn't have a lot of populace in Sichon, and most of their army was on the other side. So they were prime target too to get through.
How does he know that most of their army was on the other side?
It's referenced in the Midbar Rabbah, Tanhuma Hukat Rashi, and it says the importance lay in the protection of the residents of Canaan from invaders from the east.
Gotcha.
So that's where it's from.
Okay, fine. Next verse says, okay, may Aroer, Asher al Svad Nacharnu. They went from Aroer, which is by the edge of the valley of Arnon, the ear Asher Benachal, V'ada Gilad, Lo Aita Kiryah. And the city that was in the Wadi until Gilad, there was no city Asher Sagvami Menu that was too strong for us. Asakol Natan Hashem Okeinu Fanenu. That Hashem gave us everything. Rak el Eretz Bnei Ammon lo karavta. We just didn't touch the land of Ammon. Koya Nachal Yabok. We didn't touch anything that was next to Valley of Yavok. The Areya Har v'chol asher tzivah Hashem Okeinu. And we didn't touch all the cities of the mountains. Let's see. Rashi says, Kol asher tzivah Hashem Okeinu. Everything that Hashem told us not to touch, we didn't touch. So that's how they were able to go through Sichon, but they didn't touch Ammon. Why didn't they touch Ammon? Because Ammon is because of the kindness that Lot did for Avram. Chapter 3.
Who was the descendant of Ammon?
Ammon and Moab came from Lot.
The Moab was David is a descendant of Moab, but who's the descendant of Ammon?
No, so Shlomo Amelch is a descendant of Ammon also.
On the other side?
Yeah. That's what she said earlier. So, yeah.
Shlomo's wife, Naama,
Shlomo's wife
was from Ammon.
Shlomo's wife is from Ammon. Okay, so it says Vanathan Vanal Derech HaBashan, and then we went up by way of the Bashan. Vayetze Og Melech HaBashan L'Kaseinu. And Og, the king of Bashan, went out to greet us. He and all of his people went out to war in Edrei. Rashi says, Vanathan Vanal, we turned and ascended. Kol Tzad Safon Hu Aliyah. Anything to the north is called the Aliyah, going up. Verse 2. Vayomer Hashem Elai Al Tira Oso. Don't be afraid. Ki b'yadcha nasati oso. It's called Amo, that's so. Hashem said to me, don't be afraid, because in your hand I placed him and all of his people and his land. Vasitalo, kasher asito asichom melchamori, asher yoshe b'cheshbon. He said, don't be afraid of him, because I'm going to do to him just like you did to Sichon, who lived in Cheshbon. Rashi says, by Sichon, it didn't say don't be afraid of him. Moshe was very afraid that he won't have the merits because Og served Abraham, as it says, Vayavoa Palit vu Og. Og was the one who told him that Lot was captured. So therefore he had this merit. So now Moshe was afraid that he wouldn't be able to defeat Og because Og had a merit, but apparently he didn't. So according to this Rashi, Og goes all the way back to Abraham. Actually, he goes further back because the Midrash says that Og survived the flood. Did you ever hear that Midrash? The Midrash says Og survived the flood by holding on to the outside of the ark. Like Tom Cruise. That's what the Midrash says. Okay, I think that's in Rashi also. The pasuk says, "Vayiten Hashem Elokeinu b'yadeinu gam et Og melech habashan v'tko amo v'na'akeu ha'bilti asher osred." We struck down Og until there was nobody left from Og melech habashan v'na'akod kol harav v'yitehi, and we struck down his city at that time. Lo hayta kiryah asher lo lakachnu meitam. There was no city that we didn't conquer. Shishim ir kol chavel argov mamlechet Og habashan. 60 cities, the entire region of the royal palace, the kingdom of Bashan. Kol chavel argov mamlechet Og babashan. Rashi says, Kol chavel argov. This is the entire region of the royal palace. Mitargaminan Beit Palach Terachona, the area of Terachona. Veriti Targum Yerushalayim Gilat Esther. First time I've seen Rashi quote that. Korela Foatin Terachonin. A palace is called Terachonin. Amadati Chevel Argov means Haparachia Hechomelch, the province of the royal palace. Kolmar Shamachut Nikrit Hashema. Kingdom is called through it. Chen et Argov de Moachim. Itzalech Melech. Argov Pekach of Fekachia. Amadati Shekach Nikrat Shem Parachia. So basically, Chevel Argov means the region of the royal palace. Okay, all of these were fortified cities, with high wall, doors, and a bar. Aside from the open cities, haprazi, which were many, area prazi. Rashi says, pruzot, uptuchot, below choma, pruzot teshev Yerushalayim. So there were 60 walled cities and many, many open cities. Verse 6. We'll destroy them like we did to Sichon. Destroy every city from the men, the women, the children. Rashi says, annihilate them. And all the animals and the booty we plundered.
Does the Torah specify the women and the children in the other cities that we destroyed?
Just the previous one.
Just Sichon and Og.
Well, then at the beginning of or at the end of last parasha, it says that when they came back, they didn't destroy the women. And they left them alive, and they got in trouble for that. That was against Midian.
There they were allowed to keep the small children, but here it says they didn't.
And we took at that time the land from the hands of the two Amorite kings, Asher be'Evar Yarden, Minachal Armon at Har Charmon. We took at that time the land from the hands of the two Amorite kings that were in the Aver Jordan, from Nachal Arnon until Mount Hermon. Sidonim Yikru Hermon Sirion. The Sidonim we call Hermon Sirion. V'Amari Yikru Sinir. Why is this? Rashi says, the Sidonim we call the Hermon Uv'Makam Achar Omer. V'Ada here Har Sion Hu Hermon. Harelo Arba Shemot. So the Hermon is 4 names. Why does it need to be written? Why do we care all the names? To tell us the praise of the land of Israel. The 4 kings used to boast about it. So basically, they were all calling themselves as the owners of the Hermon, like the Rocky Mountains. Everybody wants to be associated. And all the cities of the plain, all of Gilad, all of Bashan, until Salcha and Edrei, the cities of the kingdom of Og of Bashan. Kirak Og HaBashan. I love this pasuk. She says, Kirak Og HaBashan Nishar Miyeta Rephaim. Only Og, king of Bashan, remained from the remnants of the Rephaim. Hine Arso Eres Barzel. His bed was an iron bed. Elohi B'Rabbas B'nei Ammon. His bed was an iron bed, and it is in the Rabat B'nei Ammon. Teisha Amot Arka, 9 amos long. Arba amos Rachba Ba'amas Ish. It's 9 amos long and 4 amos wide. That's by the arm of a man. By the way, so how big is that bed? Not that big. No.
Steinsaltz says it's twice the size.
Well,
Isn't
an amma is 18 inches. So it's
18
so 9 times 1.5. So it's 13.5 feet. It's not small, but what's your bed at home? Probably 8 feet, 9 feet. So 13.5 feet and 6 feet wide. It wasn't even a king size. What's a king size?
But if the length is 13 feet, it's like minute bolt, like it's like somebody really large.
The bed is big. That doesn't mean he was that big.
Lengthwise.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean he was that big.
It says here that he was that big.
The king size that we say today is the width, not length. And the other comment I have is that in modern Hebrew, the word eres is cradle. So this is just his baby bed.
Yeah, no.
That's right.
But
No, that's what it says.
It
Yeah.
says that.
Yeah.
Well, the question is, why do we care how big? This is my thought on that. Why do we care how big his bed was? Of all the things to tell us, why does the Torah have to tell us how big Og's bed was? And why do we care where it is in Rabat B'nai Ammon? It's like in the museum of Rabat B'nai Ammon, they have Og's bed.
Is that true?
That's what it reads like. In the museum of Rabat B'nai Ammon, they have he was left, and they have his bed in this place. What's the message of that?
In terms of the length, it's to say that even though the people of Israel were scared, Hashem helped them overcome that fear, and just because he's a giant, who cares? But in terms of where it is, I think it's just we're talking a lot of details that are history that you said yourself was very difficult. Like we learned yesterday about Crete and about other nations who was there first and all that. Like it's just to say that Hashem, when he decided that this was going to be our land, but specifically about Bnei Ammon, maybe it's actually a problem, because how did it end up there? It's not where he was.
So I think I was thinking that that the point of it is as follows. Og is this giant, And what do we have left? We have his bed, and we're saying Og is dead. That's the point. He's just a man like everybody else. He's got a big giant bed. It's like saying you have a big giant coffin. Who cares? He's dead. He's not like, on the one hand, there's these midrashim that's saying he's so old, he goes back to Abraham, maybe back to Noah. But now we're saying he had a really big funeral. That's the point. He's in a museum. He's in a museum. He's dead. That's the point. We don't worship Og. That he's not a god. I think that's the point. Okay, we'll just do one more verse. So, ואת הארץ הזאת ירשנו ואת ההיא מערוער אשר נחל הארנון וחצי הר גלעד והרב נתתי עמקו הרביני והגדי. And so then at that time, we took this land, we inherited it from Aroer, and Nachal Arnon, and half of Mount of Gilad and its cities, I gave to the Reuveni and the Gadi. Rashi says, Rashi says, Hamura Omawa, Minachal Arnon and Har Chamon Yerashu Ba'etai. Okay. So V'yeter Agilad v'chol b'Hashem amor chatog natati l'chatzi shevet HaManashe kochol v'argo v'chol Bashan ahu yikarei Eretz Rephaim. And the rest of Gilad and Bashan, the kingdom of Og, I gave to half of Menashe, all the chavel of Argo, all the royal area for all Bashan. It's called Eretz Rephaim. Rashi says, this is what I gave to Abraham. And Yar Bemenashe lekachet kol chavel Argo v'gvul Geshuri v'amachati v'yikrau sam al shmo et Bashan Chavot Yair ad hayom hazeh. And Yar Bemenashe took all of Chavel Argov until the Gvul Gushari and the Machati, and he called them by his name, the Bashan Chavot Yair, named after him until today. Okay, we'll stop here. We're up to the 7th Aliyah. We'll stop here and pick this up tomorrow.